back out in the garage. A couple things we're going to work on tonight. You can probably tell by the title of this video is we're starting the bike on RC car batteries, and this will be the first fire up on methanol. So I finally have all the little pieces that I've been kind of tinkering with, and I was waiting on a fuel filter and just kind of refining some stuff and getting it set. I still need my big injectors, but we're going to fire it up on the small one and see if we can get like a little idle quality and stuff kind of figured out and see how it's kind of going to act on the methanol. It is cold out, so I'm kind of giving the heater back there a little time to, this one right there, I'm giving the heater a little time to run and catch up and get the garage up to temp. So if I can get up to about 60, 65 in here, it's like 45 right now. You can just barely see my breath. But heater should catch up pretty quick. But I got a couple things I'm going to do first. I got to get the tank shell off, and I'm going to put fuel in it, and actually I got to double check for leaks. I haven't even set fuel pressure on this thing yet. So we'll get started with doing some of that stuff quick. So as you can see, the fuel system on this bike is super simple. I got my feed here, return there. So it's only two lines because the pump and the regulator are mounted right on the fuel cell. I had a video on how I made all this, but super slick setup. But what I need to do is, I got my fill cap, I go ahead and fill this with fuel, and then I got to adjust fuel pressure regulator, kind of set my pressure. So I'll need to get the batteries in the bike so I can power it up, and then I'll activate that output for the fuel pump, and I'll be able to watch on the laptop because there'll be a different screen displayed here when that output is running for a test mode. So I'll get the output turned on, and then I'll be able to watch on my diagnostic screen. I'll be able to watch what the fuel pressure is. So that's how we're going to go ahead and get fuel pressure set. So I got my jug of fuel down there. We'll go ahead and pour in just a little bit. We'll check for leaks, set pressure, and then hopefully it'll warm up and we can see how she runs. There is a map loaded into the bike already. So with the fuel tech, it's pretty slick. Once you basically have it dialed in, like I had it running on gas, obviously, race gas. When you switch everything for your settings, when you change it over to methanol, it goes ahead and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Translates everything into basically an alcohol scale. So that should get me a rough starting spot. So we'll try that and see what happens. This stuff is so easy to use that even if it doesn't fire up, I can data log the whole time it's cranking and trying to start. So then I'll be able to go in and make adjustments. But I need to first get it to, get fuel in it and see what it's trying to do. And then we'll go from there. So real quick, if you follow my pressure line here, my feed line, you can see my fuel filter back in here. It's kind of a bigger unit, but a bigger fuel filter has a bigger filter inside of it. It's a stainless cleanable deal. But a bigger filter, bigger housing will flow more fuel and likely plug up or not plug up as fast as a small little super compact little convenient thing that everybody thinks is super cool. You get some crud in the system, those can plug up fast and cause an issue faster than you'd like to admit. So a little bit of a bigger filter, you're in the clear a little longer if you have something go wrong, where you got a bunch of shit got in the tank, you got a hose that's deteriorating, something falling apart. Just trust me, if you can fit a bigger filter on, do it. So I use a number 8 feed, so I got plenty of fuel feeding this sucker. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little unit. First thing I'm going to do is just out of convenience is I'm going to pour some of that into that jug so it actually will be easier to fill the bike from there, and I can kind of see how much I'm putting in. That jug is not full to start with, so I'll do a little transfer and then I can fill the bike from that and see what I'm using. got my 2 RC car batteries. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the bike and then see how well she does. So what I got going on here is the bike is just plugged into the laptop. I didn't actually power it up yet. But I will turn the bike on, and then I can go over here, and where we got fuel pressure down here, that's not reading accurate right now. It will once I fire up the bike. But then I'll go over here and adjust my fuel pressure. So for now, we will turn the bike on. Now what I need to do is go in here and then go down to fuel pump, and then we'll scroll. Right here it says test. Kind of a goofy glare, but see that it says test? What that'll allow me to do is turn that output on. Now you can hear the pump running. And we can go over here and look. Fuel pressure's right there, about 57 PSI. So I'll back that down a little bit. Turn that off. Now I'll go in there, I'll make a little adjustment, and then we'll do it again. Okay, first success. All these fuel lines, fittings, everything's brand new. 0 leaks. Not that I shouldn't expect a leak, but it's nice to see that I didn't get like a bum fitting or a bad flare, something goofy. But I got my fuel pressure set now, so I'll go up here, turn that output on. Hear that big ass fuel pump running. And if we go over here and look at my fuel pressure, 43 to 44 pounds, so we're good. That's my base starting. So now I can work on probably trying to start it once it warms up just a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I have the fuel pump unplugged, and I have my coils unplugged. So I'm just going to crank the motor over and prime it a little bit. I had this thing cranking over a while back, or not a while back, but like a week ago when I was playing with the batteries. God, that glare is awful. There we go. So I have, spun the motor over and built oil pressure before, but we'll spin her over now. That should be enough oil pressure to try to start it now. So I'm not just cranking, and it fires on a unprimed motor. So after a little bit of fiddling around, and I pulled the spark plugs out, cranked it over. I did manage to load the motor up with fuel pretty decent from constantly having the pump and injectors and everything priming. So I pulled plugs, ran it over, blew all the extra fuel out of the cylinders, and then dried the plugs out, put it back in, cranked on it for a good amount, and then it actually fired. So Fuel Tech's scaling is actually really close from when it was running on gasoline. I just switched the scale, or switched the fuel that I'm using from gasoline to methanol, and it automatically rescaled everything, all my settings in the Fuel Tech. So it's not perfect, but it actually did work. The thing fired up. So we'll go ahead and start it now. I'll kind of show you. I haven't monkeyed with nothing. I don't even have my laptop out here. You can see like where it normally sits. I don't have that out here right now. So what I need to do now that I know what it runs is I'll fire it up and get a data log out of it. And I can tell I got to play with the Excel enrichment a little bit. Got a little bit of a dead spot. And then, yeah, just kind of go through everything. So pretty stoked, but I'll kind of show you how she fires up. And I wish you could smell the inside of my garage right now. I had the door open for a little bit, and I was crying. It's methanol is no joke, especially in a confined space. So I'll work on getting this thing tuned in a little bit here and there. Probably not so much while it's cold and I got to have the garage door shut. I think once the weather warms up and I can spend like a Saturday during the day out here, when the sun's out and it's, you know, getting warm, I can do some tuning. Don't worry about that. So for now, I'll just kind of show you how she fires up. So get her turned on here. You hear that monster pump running there. The Fuel Lab stuff is really cool. But let's hit the button here. Oh, I should let the wideband warm up a little bit. It is still cold in the garage, so even though I did have the thing warmed up, it helps to have the wideband warmed up so I can get a reading and kind of catch itself at idle. So that's the stuff I'll have to look at yet. Kind of stabilizing out a little bit. It's actually really lean is what the problem is right now. So yes, you can start and run your drag bike on RC car batteries. Got two of them in there. So that's gonna be it for this video. Like nothing real extravagant, but I feel like that was a big item off the list, getting it to fire up on methanol. So now that I know that it'll start and run, tuning's the easy part. Or I shouldn't say tuning's easy, but getting it tuned in to be easy compared to all the other stuff I've been doing, if that makes any sense. So anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully next video we'll get back to maybe making some more stuff. See you later.